All right, we're working on the 1992 Dodge Dakota LE. I'm actually rebuilding the overdrive unit of the transmission at this time. But while going through the troubleshooting procedures, said one of the things you want to check is your fuses. These are my underhood fuses right here, and I did find a bad one. So I pulled it with that and replaced it. It turned out to be the 5 amp draw fuse. There's also another set of them up under here. So I checked those with the battery connected. It's disconnected right now. I actually found another problem not related to this, but to my headlight issue, I'm sure, because I still haven't been able to use brights on this truck without burning something up. And this fuse is the ignition off draw fuse. So if I hook up my battery right now, these lights come on. Oh, damn it. Okay. No doubt that's the cause of my problem I gotta solve. But right now I'm working on the transmission. And to me, the most important thing is to make sure the case is good. Because if you can't get another case, then that's a big problem. But I think I have seen some of these available, maybe. You know, because this transmission builders want these because this is what they need too. This is the main piece. All right, I was watching another guy's video and he said one of the big problems is there gets to be a lot of thrust in this area. And so I wanted to check for that, whether this one's good or bad. So I put my snap ring back in and I checked right there, and there's no play there. And if you can get it to move, it's just slightly like that. But as far as up and down goes, that's not a problem. I put in a new seal in the back. So I'm confident in my case is ready to go. I don't know. You know how snap rings go. I could have took that off and now I can't find it. But anyway, I need one. The governor snap ring. This bearing seems to be fine, although I'd kind of like to get a new one just for the fact that it looks like it got a little bit burned. Also, it was down in this area that I found a lot of gray matter. Probably metal. I've cleaned all that out now. Planetary gear has wear on the outside of the teeth. But apparently, I've been watching the other guys' videos, and hopefully we can all help each other out a little bit. Where you want to look is right here. And apparently you can just go like that, and if your pick hooks up on anything, then you got to get a new one of these. Other than that, you just check this. But if you replace that, you want to get this piece and whatever it goes into as all one unit. I think that's the one it goes. So you'd want to get one of these too. One time on a different transmission, I tried just buying this. And I had a heck of a time putting it back into where it goes. It didn't want to match up at all. I had to do quite a bit of filing and stuff to get them to work together. So just get that together and then you won't have that problem. Save you labor. But you know how it is. Sometimes money is hard to come by. Anyway, this is my overdrive unit laid out. I have not gone through this yet, which I'm going to, because there's a filter in it. But I like my bearings and checking good. But The other thing I'm going to do here is put all brand new steels in. And that in itself is going to take up a lot of slack out of whatever happened here, which wasn't good because it looked like all of this stuff was cramming into this pocket right here. So I want to make sure that doesn't happen anymore. And I know the steels, replacing the steels is going to make a big difference. In fact, the only thing I'm going to use is the nice big thick ones. And then the other thing the book mentioned, you got to be really careful of, and I'm telling you this because you can't see it. All right. I had to use like a dial caliper or any, you know, plain go, no-go work or micrometer. But the difference in these is like within the thousandths of an inch, and I've marked my thicker one with a T because it has to go in first. And apparently that's quite critical. All right, so there's the big spring that'll get pressed back in. I'm almost ready to put it back together. I just got to build that, and then we'll start going back together with the new parts. Of course, one of the new parts I need is still that. It's 1.25 inches approximately in the closed position right there. But I tried to see if I could get a snap ring kit last night. Maybe I didn't put in the right search or I was too tired. But I want to see if I can get thrust bearings. You know, a set of thrust bearings for this one. That's the main one. I wrote down the name of it, exactly what that's called, but it's thrust bearing is what the book says, but it's in a certain position. So, yeah. So there you go. This part of the unit actually looks pretty good. I think, you know, with just getting a few parts, the bad looking thrust bearing actually, you know, actually don't feel bad. It feels pretty good. I just didn't like the fact that there was so much gray matter in this area, and I guess I kind of broke the rules because I cleaned it out with solvent, but I blew it out with air. And then my book says don't blow these out with air. Anyway, it's already in the past. But if I can't get a new one, I'll run that. I did make maybe made one more mistake, and it could have been a very critical. All right, so I'll have to find out more later. But okay, the A500 early version has this plate set up. All right, now they're telling me don't do that. Okay, now we're going to go to this one. So what difference does that make? It's going to take out a lot of end play. And maybe that's all I really need to do to make sure that there isn't so much stuff jamming up into this. Because that's where the problem was. And that's also, I believe this gear clutch is close to that. Or at least somewhere in the line here with it. But you can see the huge difference. Just, okay, so and then you got 2 steels and 3 frictions in illustration 2. Whereas the old way was to go with 1 steel and 2 frictions. I'm pretty sure that's the way I went last time. But I'm going to go this way now because apparently that's the new deal. That one thing could definitely make a huge difference in how well this transmission performs when I'm finished. So I'm going through everything. I got a book. I've been watching my friends' videos also, which that was a big help actually, because on this deal here, you know, it says in the book to open that up and then try and pull it out. Well, you can just flip this whole case upside down, open that snap ring, and it falls right out. Of course, you want to do that with it on the bench. That was the one where you need to make sure and hold these over the edge of the bench because they'll be sticking out of the case. But I tried the way this book says and had difficulty, so I did it the other way. Here we go with that kind of stuff. ATSG. Good books. All right. So basically it's time to get the bench cleaned up so I'll have room to work on my governor assembly and tear that down. And I kind of like to put this stuff back together because that governor, I can put that on later. So I may go ahead and start putting this back together. Kind of want to see if I can get them thrust bearings though right now. And you know, because the governor, I can tear that down and put it back together at the end because it just goes right here. Those clutch packs can all be installed and all this stuff can be back where it goes and get it off my bench and put it back together where it belongs. A lot better way of just picking it up now and putting it someplace else again and then bringing it back out, putting it together. You lose things. All right, so that's John Rudy with Rudy Racing and working on the A500 overdrive unit. It looks like we're going to have a good overdrive unit when we're finished. Signing off.